Hey, this is Scott Spears along with Matt Morgan, and then there were two, welcoming you to yet another edition of The Exchange. As many of you know, Carrington Nelson is off to flight attendant training school, so she won't be here for a few weeks, and we'll see what happens with that as far as scheduling and things go. Did want to let you know we are going to fill these chairs, but we're looking over some candidates at the current time. If you're interested in filling one of the chairs, you can send in your resume or your attributes at this point, and we might take a look at them. But we will be filling these two seats momentarily. But for now, it's the two of us talking current events, which is certainly no problem. But we do have our eye on a couple people. Matt, how do you feel about all this?
Oh, you know, it's strange sitting in a room with only the two of us for a taping, and we haven't done that since the beginning.
Since the beginning. I mean, we had our third for 9 months, and then we also had sometimes a fourth, from Big Nut to Ted Williams to Mary Ellen to who else? Buckeye Guy, Weasel Boy. They all were here, a parade of people. But now we're down to two, but that's okay because it's still going to be interesting, and we're still going to talk the latest current events possible. Abby was here at one point, so you know. We'll see what happens. We've got some prospects, though, we were talking about before we went on the air. So it could be big.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm excited for the future. You always have to look toward the future.
You gotta look forward to something.
You gotta look forward to something. Can't look backwards. Can't look in the rearview mirror. So we're going to start off this week talking about Jelly Roll. Now, it's my understanding this man, his whole name makes me laugh. Jelly Roll is a country music recording artist, right?
I don't know. He makes like country rock rap. It's kind of hard.
I've seen him.
I've seen him.
If that ain't country, I'll kiss your rear end. But here's the thing. Here's what I don't understand about this man. Okay, it's bad to call people heavy, but the man's name is Jelly Roll.
What about it?
Well, see, he's obviously embraced his girth. I think people should do that.
Yeah,
I'm sure his Christian name is not Jelly Roll.
I'd hope not.
No, I think people should embrace their heaviness, and then there wouldn't be such sadness and saga and drama.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think that, I think if you accept it, they can't bother you when people point it out because you're like, okay.
In any event, Jelly Roll won a whole bunch of awards at the CMT Awards program. Yep. And he says his tendency is to give people big hugs when he wins awards, or just in general, I guess, when he runs into people. With everything, I guess, would be big with him at this particular point. But he gives people big hugs. So the question is, are hugs okay? Invading people's, private space, because I don't think these people are expecting hugs when he's hugging them.
I mean, that's fine. It's an award ceremony. I think that's okay.
So you think it's okay for this man, Jelly Roll, to be just grabbing a hold of people?
For hugs, yeah.
See, fine. I don't like it.
That's okay.
I would not like it. If I was presenting the award, I would make sure I was as far away from Jelly Roll as possible so I would not get hugged.
Give him a firm handshake?
Well, yes, I think you have to be receptive of the hug. I don't think you want strangers hugging you.
That's fine.
No, you'd want a hug from Jelly Roll?
I mean, it's the CMT. He's hyped that he won an award.
Well, that's fine. Just get up there and say, listen, I'm thankful that I won this award. I thank the Academy. I thank my family. Swiss Cake Roll and Party Roll and whoever else rolls, Brown Serve Roll, all the rolls in his family. And then you get off the stage. You don't have to hug people. You don't need to hug the person who presented you the award.
Yeah.
They didn't vote for you.
I mean, I know, but they gave it to you.
I think hugs are bad anyway, first of all.
I have nothing against hugs.
Well, we understand you're a hugger, but to be honest with you, I think hugs are bad. I think people touching you is bad. I think when people get their hands on you, I don't know where their hands have been, and I don't think that's a proactive thing.
Well, I mean, ideally, usually people who hug you, you would know. And I mean, at the CMT, it's a little bit different because, like, it's nationally televised. That's just,
Well, they might know Jelly Roll, but you don't want Jelly Roll hugging you.
I don't think it matters. I don't see an issue here.
Like, why? This reminds me, why do they always hug people on their deathbed?
I don't know.
They're dying. They probably don't want to be hugged. You can spread illness through hug.
Well, you're not dead yet.
Right, but you know that you can speed up the death process if you give them some kind of pneumonia or something that's going to affect their immune system.
I thought you meant like they were going to give you a disease.
No.
And I was like, you're not hugging like
well,
a
you never know.
decaying body.
Well, their disease might be catching too. You never know. I just don't think. I think that Jelly Roll should adopt the fist bump.
The fist
bump. You know.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do. Hey, I won the big award. Here we go. Yeah, that's all. See?
No.
Life would be simple.
See,
Sit down, Jelly Roll.
He likes to do it big, I guess. He's a big man. He likes to do it big.
Oh, yeah. He's a big man, but he needs to do it proper. Society is about being proper.
I think the hugs are fine.
Jelly Roll, stop hugging people. I think this is inappropriate. Why do you think hugs are okay? Do you not understand you gotta touch somebody to hug them?
Yeah.
In this Me Too world, if you hug the opposite sex, you could get a lawsuit.
I don't know. I don't think that's how that works.
Oh, I do.
I mean,
I do. Ask some of those people.
If you're hugging them on national television, and they say, then they like, hashtag Me Too was hugged on national television by Jelly Roll, I'd be like, what about it?
Why is this man's name Jelly Roll? I mean, let's get down to brass tacks here.
I'm sure.
Who calls? I mean, where did he get this name? Jelly Roll.
I'm sure you could find the name or a reasoning on the internet.
You know what rolls I like? Are those little rolls that have the strawberry in them?
The strawberry shortcake ones?
Yeah, rolls.
Those are good.
Are those called rolls?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like a good roll.
Those things are good.
Those aren't jelly rolls, though, are they?
No.
What is a jelly roll?
I don't know. Like a jelly-filled donut, I guess.
It's a country singer.
Yeah?
That's what a jelly roll is. Well, God bless his heart. I don't think he should be hugging people.
There's nothing wrong with the hugs.
You don't want to hug people who don't want to be hugged. Hugs are fine as long as you want to be hugged. If you don't want to be hugged, bad.
What's your issue with the hugs?
I don't want to be touched by certain folks.
I mean, there's the one man, I can't think of his name, but the dude who does, I can't even think of the game show. The one where you point out the briefcases. The one with the...
Deal or No Deal.
Yes, Deal or No Deal.
Howie Mandel.
Howie Mandel, yes. He's a germaphobe, and...
Germaphobe.
And, people hug him all the time on the TV, so...
I don't think he likes it.
I don't... Yeah, apparently he doesn't mind it. He hasn't asked him to not.
Well, I just think we could avoid a couple problems. Here's a good story. Travis Kelce...
this is a good story.
You like this one?
I've never heard of it. Travis Kelce's involved.
He's involved. I was just at his. No, that's not it. It's his brother's stadium, or his brother's former stadium, Lincoln Financial Field. All right, in Philadelphia. Travis Kelce sparked outrage by liking several social media posts with President Trump in them. Because he liked them, people think he's a Trumper. So now, people are angry.
I don't think you should get angry at people for their political beliefs. So...
Does this mean he's a Trumper? Because he liked social media posts?
I don't think. I mean, if it's just like pictures with Trump in it, I don't think that has... I mean, I guess it depends on the post. If he liked a Trump post, I assume that he's following Trump.
No, I guess it's just pictures with Trump in them.
Well,
that his friends posted.
Well, his friends posted it with Trump. I think that it was more so because his friends posted it.
Right, but it made people angry because he's supposed to be for certain things that may be contrary to what Donald Trump is for. And certainly his girlfriend, same thing.
I mean, I don't think that... I mean, even if he is a Trumper, I don't think that people should be upset at him for it.
Trust me, he's going to get outraged.
To each his own.
Well, it sparked outrage.
I don't know why. It is what it is.
Yeah, but if you like somebody politically, you've got to expect some backlash.
He didn't say he liked Trump, though.
No, but liking a post, doesn't that infer that
Trump
you
was
do?
just in the pictures.
I understand that.
I don't think that he liked the pictures because Trump was in them.
Well, what do you think this is all about then?
I mean, I don't know. I have to see the post, but so I mean, like you had said that it were like posts that had Trump in them that his friend had posted. So I just thought it was like his friends had like met Trump and like posted pictures with Trump, and in that case, it's like, oh, you met him, and that's pretty cool. You met a president.
Well, I don't know if that's it. I don't know. I just know his friends have made the posts, and he liked his friend's post, and Donald Trump's picture is in the posts.
I don't know if he likes Trump. I don't I don't see why it matters to everybody else.
Well, apparently it does. It sparked outrage.
I don't know. I don't think they should be outraged, but I guess if they want to be outraged, they're going to be outraged. So
they are outraged. So
that's how it works.
Do we know that he likes Trump or not? Not really.
No, I don't. I mean, I don't think so. I don't think he really talks about politics.
Well, apparently liking those pictures set off a firestorm.
I'm sure it'll be fine. I don't know why everybody insists on bashing people who like the opposite political party. Even he didn't even say he liked the opposite. But he just liked the post that happened to have Trump's picture in it.
Politics have become.
Is it a picture of just Trump, by the way, or is it a picture of just that Trump is in?
I'm not really sure.
I wish I could see the post.
I just think things make people very angry these days, and I think that people get very out of shape, bent out of shape very quickly.
I think politics has become a little too tribal.
Well, it's certainly tribal these days because we got a presidential election coming up not very long from now.
That is true.
And I think that brings out an interesting attitude in people.
I think the election is a rough time of the year for people for some reason, and I'm not 100% sure why. I understand that you might not like the dude who gets elected, but that's kind of just how it is.
Well, you might not like the person, but I'll tell you what, I don't know. It's just a mess, to be honest with you. I think anything we do nowadays, people see as political. If I take the opposite opinion of somebody, they think that's political. I don't understand it. Sometimes I just want to disagree with somebody.
That's fair. I like to do that too. I do that with my parents.
Anyway,
my aunt.
I love this story. I know you love this one too. That a recent Japanese study found that writing down things that make them angry, that make you angry, and then tearing that piece of paper up brings them back to a state of calm.
I think it has to do more with the writing it down on the paper than the tearing up of the paper.
Tearing up is saying goodbye.
Because then you gotta because you have to have the piece of paper. Like, you have to go out of your way when you're angry to get a piece of paper and something to write it down with. And then think about what you're angry about and then write it down. So, all the time while you're doing this, you're not even focusing on what you're angry about. So then by the time it's on the paper, I don't even think you're angry anymore.
But I mean, so you think it is good to write it down on a piece of paper?
I mean, yeah. I think it is. I don't know what I just don't understand what the ripping it up has to do with anything. I think that's kind of
just saying symbolic, saying goodbye.
You can just throw it away. There's no need to rip it up.
Well, I think that's just, like I say, symbolism.
I think you could have the same symbolism by crumbling it up and then throwing it in the trash can.
So you think this would help then?
I think so. I think it's more so. I don't know if it's because you're writing. I think it's just you're distracting yourself from what you're angry about to do alternative tasks, and then but it just so happens that you're writing down what you're angry about. And then when you write down what you're angry about, at that point, I don't even think you're angry anymore because you've had to do 4 or 5 things to even get to the point where you wrote down what you're angry about.
I think writing down what you're angry about, sometimes it makes you think about it, because sometimes you're irrational when you're angry. And you don't realize that what you're angry about is so stupid. Well, and then having to write it down, you say, oh man, I'm angry about this? Why am I angry about this?
Usually when you make decisions, when you make decisions based on emotion, they make poor choices anyways. Emotional choices are usually not good choices. They're driven by emotion, not logic.
Right, which is anger.
Yeah.
Right, so this might be a way to stop you in your anger. You stop for a second, you write it down, you realize that it's silly, and then you tear it up and throw it away.
Well, I don't think it has anything to do with realizing that it's silly. I think that just like I said, you have to distract yourself. You have to be angry first, right? And then you have to distract yourself from being angry long enough to find a piece of paper and something to write write what you're angry down about. And honestly, by that time, you might not even be angry anymore.
Well, there's a possibility.
I wish I could remember where it's from, but if you were upset, sad, and you were just started randomly saying numbers, counting randomly in your head, you have now like distracted yourself from what you were upset about, and your brain has a hard time focusing on two things at once. So now you're focused more on these random numbers that you're spewing out in your head than what you were upset about. So it's more to distract yourself from the emotion than. I don't think there's any real help to it other than distraction.
Well, that's pretty much what this is.
Yeah.
I mean, I think for the most part, that's essentially what's going on here.
It's just a distraction.
Just a distraction. Because you've got all this anger, you've got all this energy, you've got all this pent-up nature, and then all of a sudden, whoa, wait a second, I need to calm down.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think that may. I mean, I don't think you. I think you just kind of do calm down because now you're distracted. You kind of forget that you're angry. It sounds weird, but you kind of just forget that. You forget what you were upset about.
I don't know. I just think this is a good thing to do.
I think you could just count numbers randomly and it would work all the same.
I don't know. I think the Japanese people have it right. The Japanese live a long time. So clearly they have the methods down on how to live forever.
See, I mean, the Japanese people also...
And they treat their old people good.
Japanese people?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know that Asia, it's probably China then. I know somewhere in China they have this problem where old people commit suicide at a much higher rate than other people because at that point just nobody does anything with them.
You know what? Here's a story that's been ticking me off recently. This just made me think of it because maybe I should write it down and tear it up. That there's a new book, and I don't know why people always do this, but there's a new book being put out on the life of Barbara Walters, and it's getting a lot of attention. It was on the cover of the USA Today on Sunday, and it's called The Rule Breaker, and it's not out yet. And this woman, I think her name is Susan Page, is writing about the life of Barbara Walters. But Barbara Walters died in December of 2022. So nobody can sue this woman if this stuff is not true. She can say anything. Now, I'm not saying Susan Page is an accomplished, I think, news person. I think she's probably doing the right thing. But I don't like when people write books about people when they're dead. Because I don't know. Barbara Walters wrote a great autobiography about her life called Audition. So what are we going to learn in this book that Barbara Walters did not write herself?
Well, usually when you write a book about yourself, you tend to leave out bad things.
So why do we need to know bad things about Barbara Walters at this point?
Well, I think it's just as good to know the good things and the bad things.
Yeah, but you know this is going to be about her later days when she wasn't on television anymore, like the last 10 years of her life, and it's going to go into all this detail that we don't know if that's true or not.
Well, I mean, I don't. You don't know that that's going to be in the book.
Oh, I'm sure it will be.
I mean,
it'll be life to death.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, the title is Rule Breaker. I would think that it would be more of the fact that like it seems to be insisting that Barbara Walters got all these interviews by breaking rules somehow.
Well, they put an excerpt in the USA Today. I mean, it was a whole page. I couldn't believe it. This book must be going to be #1 or something. They put a whole excerpt in there of the book. Took a whole page in the Sunday edition of the USA Today. And it basically was talking about her relationship when she became the first co-anchor of a network newscast and how the man treated her and what she did and her relationships with... one thing they talked about is apparently she had a relationship with Roy Cohn, who was Joe McCarthy's lawyer, who was Donald Trump's role model, and apparently this guy got her father out of some legal trouble.
Joe McCarthy as in like McCarthyism?
Yeah. See, now I'm sure Barbara Walters would not like that to be put out at this point in her life.
Well, it's true.
Or in her death.
No, I know think... Now,
why do we have to know about that?
I mean, just because it's true, by the way, that she had a relationship with those people doesn't mean she was involved in any of the bad things they did, though. There is also...
No, but it doesn't cast her in a good light.
I don't think it cast her in a bad light.
I'm sure she would not write it about herself. If she wanted to say it, she would have said it while she was alive.
I mean, at that point, I think there's a reason why she didn't want to say it.
Yeah, because people knew he was a bad guy, and that she was using him as her lawyer probably was not the best thing in the world.
He's a good lawyer. Well, you can't fault somebody for getting a good lawyer.
No, but I mean, it's and it also talks about how I think she went to his funeral. You know, that's how close. And then that he proposed to her at one point. I mean, there's a whole thing. See, I just don't think you should be writing books about dead people.
I think it's fine. As long as you have the information.
And about how she hated being called Baba Wawa on SNL, that she really never got over that. She hated it. Well, why would you like that? They were making fun of her speech impediment.
That's funny.
That's horrible, see? Now, she would not have liked that.
It's funny. I'm sorry. I thought it was funny.
But that's horrible. Baba Wawa. The late Gilda Radner. But it does talk about how...
I didn't know she had a speech impediment.
Well, it was a Boston accent, and she kind of... It was with her R's. You would really not notice it if you listened to her, but it's like one of those Tom Brokaw speech impediments. You don't really notice it, but there are certain words that just sound different.
I mean, she introduced herself in almost every one of her interviews. You know, hello, I'm Barbara Walters.
Well, she said at one point that if she'd been named Diane Sawyer, that they wouldn't have had a gig. Why did her parents have to name her Barbara Walters? You know, so that's what it was. But she also said, I guess it's in this excerpt from this book, that when Gilda Radner died, who did the impersonation, and Gilda died very young from ovarian cancer, that she sent a note to her husband that said, "I'm sorry to hear of her death, Baba Wawa." So, you know,
Funny.
she tried to, but she said for the rest of her life it always bothered her. Because she was low at that point.
I don't know why it mattered that. I don't know why did it matter to her that much that it stuck with her forever? I don't think there's that big of a thing.
Nobody likes to be made fun of. I don't think people realize to the degree that they're sensitive when people pile on. And when you're being made fun of on SNL each and every week, I mean, you'd probably get tired of that.
I don't know much about the whole thing, so I don't know. But I mean, I don't know.
I think she sent a letter that said, "She made me laugh, Baba Wawa."
It doesn't sound like that big of a thing.
But I guess the question is, do you need books written about you after you die, where we don't even really know the truth? It also talks about her bad relationship with her daughter, that she and her daughter didn't always have a good relationship. Apparently she sent a Green Beret after her at one point when her daughter was on drugs.
I mean,
do we need to know all this, that her father was going to go to prison and she had to hire Joe McCarthy's lawyer, and that, I don't know, that she had to hire a Green Beret to get her daughter back? It's all very strange.
I mean, Barbara Walters isn't here to dispute those things, but I mean,
that's the problem.
But there's people here who, I mean, somebody here, if this lady who wrote the book knows about it, I assume there'd be more people who know about it, therefore there'd be people to dispute it.
Yes, but does the public need to know everything? Isn't that the problem? Barbara Walters wrote her own autobiography late in her life, like 2008 or 2009.
I don't like when people write their own biographies because they leave things. See, it's just that they leave things, that they pick and choose what they want to be in the biography. They put in the good parts.
Well, that's the point.
They put in the good parts and leave out the bad parts.
Well, no, she put in a lot of good parts. She put that she had affairs with a African American senator, and she told her stuff. So why do we have to go deeper now on her?
I don't know. There's more to tell, I guess.
I don't know.
People like Barbara Walters.
Huh?
People like Barbara Walters.
They do, and she's still selling books even after she's dead. But, I just don't know why we have to write these things. It's like when you find out somebody was gay when they're dead. Now, do we really need to go back and... What are we going to do now?
What? Is this a thing?
Oh, it was a big thing for a long time, because nobody was out of the closet. So they would write that they were gay after they were dead.
Why?
Exactly.
Well,
why?
Who's writing that they're gay?
People who knew. When you're dead, you can't be sued. Can't be suing somebody if you're dead.
I mean, Yeah, but I guess there'd have to be a second person there to corroborate that, so there'd once again be somebody there to dispute it.
I remember when Katharine Hepburn died, this woman wrote this book and said that she had lesbian relationships. Now, okay, I guess, I mean, maybe she did. But why'd you wait till she was dead to bring this up?
I don't know why it's relevant, though.
Why is it relevant Barbara Walters hired a Green Beret to go after her daughter? Why is it relevant that she hired a lawyer to help her father, who was Joe McCarthy's lawyer?
I think that's a little bit. I think the whole Joe McCarthy's lawyer thing. So I mean, I'd like to know that. That's interesting. I don't think that I'm gonna like trash Barbara Walters for it. Like I said, you can't fault somebody for hiring a good lawyer. He's a tried and true good lawyer. Like I would have hired the man too.
Yeah, but he had a sketchy reputation after.
If you're getting me out of what I need to get out of, I'll hire you. He's a good lawyer.
But apparently they became friends. He proposed to her at one point. She went to the funeral.
Oh, that's fine.
She probably didn't want people to know that they were that close.
I don't know why it matters.
And I guess he was gay too. So there you go.
but
he proposed. Maybe he was playing for both teams. I don't know.
I'm interested. Interesting guy.
What? Roy Cohn, look him up. I'm sure his autobiography will be out. No, his biography will be out. Somebody writing it about him because he's dead. It's just, I don't understand why, just to sell books, we have to write about dead people.
Dead people sell books, I guess.
Yeah, but what is the fascination in society to know everything about everybody?
People like to know things. It's kind of the human nature. We like to know things. We like information. People are just lazy, so we can just kind of take the information that's given to us.
Yeah, but sometimes people try to be dignified, and they don't tell how badly they were treated. And then somebody comes along and writes a book and says, well, oh, she was treated horribly by these men she worked with.
That's fine.
Is it?
That's fine.
She didn't want it out there.
But it was true.
But everything why do we need to know everything? That comes back to the same question.
Well, I don't know. People like to bash people for it. They like to take things that happened 40 years ago and hit people over the head for them. So.
Right. I think this Susan Page should take a note from this Japanese study and write it down on a piece of paper.
I don't think she's angry. I think she just thought this would sell books.
Right, but Barbara Walters' daughter is still alive.
So.
Well, maybe she doesn't want to hear that about her mom.
Look at that. Barbara Walters' daughter can sue her for all this if she wants to.
Yeah, but it's all, just muddy.
Nope. There was a whole thing between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard forever ago, and
Who?
Johnny Depp.
Well, I know Johnny Depp. Who's Amber Heard?
Amber Heard was Johnny Depp's wife at one point.
And what happened?
Amber Heard had alleged that Johnny Depp had hit her, and then Johnny Depp lost a whole bunch of jobs and stuff, and then Johnny Depp did sue her for defamation.
Did he hit her?
No.
How do we know?
Well, I mean, there was a whole long court trial about it. But, I mean, Amber Heard's story, apparently, according to the jurors, didn't line up a lot of the times, and there was even evidence to show that Amber Heard actually hit Johnny Depp, and not vice versa. And also, Amber Heard pooped on Johnny Depp's pillow, and then blamed it on the dog.
She took a dump on his pillow?
Yes. And then blamed it on the dog.
While he was there?
I'm not 100% sure how this whole thing happened. He had gone into the room and there was a turd on the pillow. I don't know. You'd have to ask Johnny Depp. I don't.
Oh, so he wasn't there when it happened.
I don't know if he was home. He could have been in the living room or something. Because there was also the whole thing about how Amber Heard brought up in the court case that Johnny Depp just had a jar of cocaine at all times.
See, too much information.
It was a good time.
No, too much information. And so we don't give away too much information. We're going to go to break here, and we're going to come back with much more on The Exchange right after this. Check your pillows. We'll be right back. And welcome back to this half of The Exchange. And again, and then there were two, as I said. But we will be filling these seats in the weeks to come. And if you would like to suggest somebody that should be sitting in these seats, let us know. But we do have some people in mind. And I think we're going to have some guest co-hosts for a while. We're going to have some people sit in and try out and see how well they do. And we'll see how that all works. But we will be filling the chairs, as they say. Now, what do you think makes a good co-host, Matt?
Oh, well, I mean, I feel like you gotta be at least semi-versed on what is being talked about, because, you gotta have the conversation, and you gotta be willing to talk, and disagree. So, I mean...
Chemistry.
Yeah. There has to be the right amount of chemistry there.
Got to have chemistry. So we'll work it out, and we're looking for, I guess, mostly women in this particular case, so we can get that point of view. So we'll see how it all works out. But if a man came in who was very good, I don't think we would turn that away.
No.
So it really could be anybody, just people.
Good people.
We're looking for people. People. And speaking of people, some industries can be hard to break into. This just goes to show you how hard. A maintenance worker was working at an art museum, and he hung up his own work to try to get into the art field, I guess. And the people who own the museum found it out and didn't like that, so they fired this maintenance worker who hung his own art up. So was this a good idea in the end, to hang his own artwork up?
I guess he got noticed because of it, obviously. We're talking
Clearly.
about it. But at the same time, he's out of job now, so I don't know if he had another job lined up or what exactly the game plan was for this, but it was a far shot that he wasn't going to get in trouble. So, he had to have known that he was going to lose his job at some point.
I think it was a good idea. Because, at some point, do you want to be the maintenance man? Do you want to be mopping the museum all your life?
I don't even know why people try to break into the art field at this point. I was looking at some famous artists recently, and, I don't even understand art. There's this painting called Green White, and I don't remember who painted it, but it's literally just a green circle with a white background. And I was like, I could paint this. I could be the world's most famous artist at this point, but apparently that's just abstract art. It's
abstract.
It's a green.
But you got to be the first, and people got to want to buy it.
I don't know who. That's what's mind-boggling. This thing was going for like around $2,000 on the internet.
Think about it.
It's a green dot with a white background.
But
I could have painted
it's
that.
It's one of a kind, right?
I could paint a replica.
No, that's forgery.
I could paint it. It would look exactly like it.
Yeah, but are you going to pass it off as your work or this artist's work?
I'll pass it off as his work. Well,
that's forgery.
There's going to be no difference.
You're going to need a Roy Cohn to get out of prison.
You won't even be able to.
You're going to end up in prison.
If you put mine up to his, you wouldn't even be able to tell the difference.
I want no part of this. I think you're going to end up in prison. I think this is not the way to go. But I think this man should have done this because he's walking up to the table. He's throwing his dice.
He threw the dice, that's for sure.
And he got attention. That's what you want.
He's going to be famous now. Somebody's going to commission him for something.
Well, I think people are applauding what he did. That was a gutsy move. Because he had to have known, hanging this up, that somebody from the museum eventually was going to walk by and say, hey.
What's up with this?
Yeah, well, this isn't my work. Whose is this? So I think he knew what he was getting into. And, it obviously, did it pay off? I don't know. He got the national attention. He got fired so people could say it didn't pay off.
What's his name in the article?
I don't know. It wasn't in the article I read, but I'm sure it's somewhere.
If his name is somewhere, I assume it. If his name is on the internet now, it worked out for him.
And I bet you that this painting now is worth something that hung in this art gallery because
of this.
Hung in this artery. Yeah, that too. Because of this story. Yeah. So, good idea. I think it was.
I suppose.
But no, you think about this in other fields. There are other fields that are hard to break into. Sometimes you just can't go to the front door and say, I want in. Sometimes you got to do something risky, brash.
There's the... I can't remember his first name, but, made by Edison, installed by Barnes. That dude, the Barnes guy, he basically just harassed Edison for a job, and then Edison gave it to him. And then he became the right hand man essentially for the installation of that machine.
See, you call it harassed though. I think that's persistence.
See, I don't know.
What do you mean harassed? What do you do? Like call him names?
So I'll give you the full story.
This is Mr. Barnes?
Yes.
You're talking about Thomas Edison?
Yes.
Okay.
There was this guy named something Barnes. Like I said, I don't remember his first name.
We don't remember him.
But
History's forgotten this man.
No. Like I said, like I remember the slogan, made by Edison, installed by Barnes. But that's why I know But I know Thomas Edison because he's a bit different than Barnes. But anyways, this man did not live in the same zip. He didn't even live in the same state as Thomas Edison, and nor did he have the money or the means to get there. So he just said, "Man, guess I'll just stow away on a train." So he grabbed a whole bunch of stuff and then stowawayed on this train and made his way to where Thomas Edison was. And then he said, "Alright, now I gotta find Thomas Edison." Found Thomas Edison, and then proceeded to ask Thomas Edison's assistant for an interview with Edison, in which he was turned down multiple times. And then he had gotten an interview with Edison, and was turned down multiple times. But Edison has this quote saying something along the lines of, "He stood there before me looking nothing more than a common cur. But I could tell by the determination in his eyes that he would not like a man with the determination in his eyes is not likely to fail."
There you go.
And subsequent events would prove that he was right because, made by Edison, installed by Barnes.
So that's persistence.
I call it
That's
harassment.
not harassment. No.
I think if I
harassment,
did that, I think
harassment is Barbara Wawa. Wawa. That's harassment.
I think if I did this nowadays, I'd have some. I'd be like trespassed on the property. Wouldn't be allowed back.
What did he do that was illegal? It sounds like he was calling for an interview.
No, he wasn't. He just showed up.
Okay, for an interview. It's not like he trashed the place when he didn't get one.
Yeah, but I think if
you can do that today.
I think if I showed up at a place and asked for an interview, for like weeks on end, I think eventually they would just trespass me.
Well, what are you You're not trespassing. When you're leaving when they ask you to leave. What's trespassing about that?
I feel like I'm harassing those people.
No, that's persistence.
That's harassment.
No. So where does persistence and harassment differ?
I don't know. I guess the intensity.
Harassment is doing something illegal.
Yeah, I'm aware, but I mean, like if I message somebody every day, like the Geraldo thing, you messaged that man every day for 100 days. I would have felt like I was.
And he came on.
I would have felt like I was harassing that man.
No, harassment.
Messaging him every day, like at some point, I'd be expecting a message back telling me to stop messaging.
Harassing is calling them a name.
I think if I came up on the street and just started bothering you, that's harassment.
Yeah, if I tell you to go away. I don't think that happened here.
Well, I think it did. And then he just said, okay. And then he came back the next day. And then the next day. And then eventually Edison was just like, look, man, sink or swim. There you go. You got a job.
But see, look at the Geraldo story. And I love to tell this story because maybe you don't know what the Geraldo story was about. That's been a few years ago now. But it started in September, and I don't even remember why it started. I think it just started because I heard that Geraldo was living in Ohio and doing a radio show up in Cleveland. And I'd had all these famous talk show hosts on, Jerry Springer and Phil Donahue and Dick Cavett and all these people. And I thought, well, I want to get Geraldo on, but I just don't want to go for an interview. I want to do it in a fun way. So I had the Geraldo Journal, and every day I would update the Geraldo Journal. I would try to call the office, I would try to email, I would try to have other people call on my behalf, and people did get involved. I believe Ted Williams called on my behalf. I believe people from the station called on my behalf, listeners. I believe Sam Donaldson called on my behalf. Everybody did, and it just went on and on and on and on. And no joke, and this is where something must be, I don't know, up above. Because it just so happens, I got a message from Geraldo's wife the week of Christmas that they said he would be on vacation and he might be able to call in Christmas Eve morning. So I never even announced that it was going to happen, right up till the point it was going to happen. It happens Christmas Eve morning, and it just so happens Christmas Eve morning was exactly 100 days to the day that I started the journal. Now, what are the odds of that?
Not likely.
Not likely. And I'll tell you what was also odd is the way the interview started out, because we only talked for a second. I said, are you there? Can you hear me? Yes, I'll be with you in just a second. I put it down. I had not told the audience that this was the last interview before Christmas. I come on Christmas Eve morning and I go, thank you very much for tuning in today. And as many of you know, I've been doing this Geraldo Journal for 100 days. And I've been trying to get this man on the program, and we've documented it every day. Well, guess what? I have something today here. What a Christmas present on this Christmas Eve, because I never thought I would say these words after 100 days. Joining me today on the program live, Geraldo Rivera. Geraldo, how are you? And his line was perfect live. He said, Scott, I've been looking for you for 100 days. Where you been? It was perfect.
I mean, it seems that
Write about that in my biography. That's the truth.
That's right. When you die, I'll be sure to write.
Make sure you write that down.
I'll be sure to write
that I
something.
harassed him.
You harassed Geraldo for the interview.
I don't even know if those ever all got to Geraldo. I don't know. Maybe they went to his wife. Maybe they went to the radio. I don't know where they went.
I'd feel bad for his wife if you were just emailing his wife day in, day out.
It worked.
It worked.
Persistence.
I guess so, but you know.
And that was big when he came on, because after 100 days, that's what I noticed. At one point, I thought it doesn't even really matter at this point if he comes on it or not, because people are so invested. This became like a drama every day. And people, I think, to this day really think I had it set up, that he was going to come on at one point. I did not know that man from Adam. We had never talked. It just worked.
I mean, it almost, I mean, I don't know.
It's a great moment in radio.
It seemed, yeah.
You don't get moments like that all the time. That was a great moment in radio. That Christmas Eve was so, the energy after that was just so high. It was like Christmas didn't even matter at that point.
You gotta get Geraldo back in here at some point.
I don't know. That was good. I don't know how you top that one. For 100 days.
I want to talk about Charles Manson.
Well, I don't think he knew Charles Manson. I think he interviewed Charles Manson.
Yeah, I'd talk about that.
You know, I've heard so much more this week about OJ, too, since he died last week at the age of 76. We keep beating that drum. OJ, OJ, OJ.
I've had one person ask me about it since...
Yeah, but don't you see the things people are saying on television? And
I don't watch the TV.
Oh, yeah, there's just all kinds of garbage out there. And if he did kill his wife, he killed her. If he killed that man, he killed him. He's dealing with it now.
He's dead. He ain't dealing with nothing now.
Well, it depends on where he went. You don't know.
Fair. I'll give you that.
So if he did it, and if he didn't do it,
I think if he didn't do it, it's rough because everybody, the majority of people, I think, I don't think there's like a poll or anything, but I'm pretty sure the majority of people think he did it.
Isn't it interesting how somebody's whole life can be wiped away? I mean, this man was a great college athlete, a great professional athlete. He became a broadcaster. He was in movies.
I didn't know he was a broadcaster, but I knew he was in movies, and I knew he played football.
And you didn't hear a bit about that when he died. Pretty much, it was murderer. Infamous man. Of a crime he was found not guilty of.
I don't know.
And I told you, everybody now is saying, well, when I had this conversation with OJ, he told me this. Did he? Why are you waiting 30 years to bring it up?
Because you don't want to be killed by him?
No. It's because he didn't tell you that, and if you would have said that, he would have released a statement saying, no, you're wrong. And now he can't release a statement because he's dead.
Well, who said what?
Oh, everybody's saying everything. I had this chilling conversation with him where he said this or said that. Bring it up while he's alive. Once he's dead, it's just nonsense. People got to stop that. I don't know why they do that. I love this story, though. Let's do this story. Jerry Turner and Teresa Nist were the first couple to meet and marry on The Golden Bachelor, ABC's spin-off of The Bachelor, featuring cast members 60 and older. On Friday, the newlyweds announced that they will also be the first spin-offs couple to divorce. After 3 months. 3 whole months they were married.
Good stuff.
They made the announcement in a joint appearance on ABC's Good Morning America. Teresa and I have had a number of heart-to-heart conversations, and we've looked closely at our living situation, and we've come to the conclusion mutually that it's probably time for us to dissolve our marriage, Mr. Turner, 72, said. The anchor, Juju Chang, replied in shock 3 months after getting married, she said. I mean, what the heck, guys? She asked later in the interview. Explaining their decision, Mr. Turner said both were dedicated to their families, each has children from previous marriages as well as grandchildren, and that it made the most sense for them to live separately. Miss Nist, age 70, added that they had looked at homes near family members in South Carolina and New Jersey, but that they had been unable to reach a conclusion. Well, they reached a conclusion. It was called divorce. After 3 months.
You know, it's I don't think it's all that surprising. I think that
72 and 70.
I think that the people really only got together because of The Bachelor. And I think
Well, of course they got together because of The Bachelor.
Well,
Golden Bachelor.
I think
Wasn't the golden years for those two?
I know. I think more so I meant like got married because of The Bachelor. I mean, I understand that like they met each other on The Bachelor, but like I think they kind of got married. I mean, their whole wedding was televised, was it not?
I think it was, but wouldn't that be more reason not to get divorced after 3 months?
Well, I mean,
God, hold out a year or something.
I don't know. At that point, I mean, I think they got more play out of it this way, honestly.
Yeah, but do you believe this reason? They couldn't find a place?
I think that after 3 months of being married to somebody you basically didn't know, they realized this was an awful idea and decided they had to leave somehow.
Yeah, but why? Why did they get married in the first place? They should have known that right off the bat.
They probably got paid for that.
I don't think they got paid to get married.
Well,
You can't force somebody to get married.
you don't have. I mean, you're not forcing them. First off, you're paying them, and I think I was gonna say they probably got paid for the episode.
You know what? If I'm the people who run the Golden Bachelor, I think I would be angry about this because it looks ridiculous now.
Well, I mean, let's be honest here. I don't think The Bachelor's ever looked not ridiculous.
No, but this, if you paid them to get married, now it looks ridiculous. You paid for something that lasted 3 months. And that's the story. I mean, even the news anchor. I mean, what the heck, guys?
I don't know why people were that invested in it, I suppose. I mean,
because it's 3 months.
It's The Bachelor.
If after a year you might say, maybe they don't get along.
You know, I think 3 months is probably about closer to how long these relationships last. I think everybody else was just like, I think we should probably wait a little bit, make it, hold face.
Relationships on this show have lasted longer than 3 months.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean.
That's what I'm saying. You think you'd stay together just...
Terrible. Terrible.
It's terrible that it happened.
I mean...
Either they should have never got married, or they should have stuck it out at least a year.
I mean, how many episodes or how many seasons of The Bachelor do there have to be before people realize that The Bachelor is a terrible, terrible...
Yeah, but most people don't get married.
Yeah, but they don't... But they also don't work out.
Right, but they don't get married. That's the irony of this thing, is that these people got married.
I could almost tell you that they were going to get divorced. They got married after not even knowing each other. How long did they know each other before they got married?
Well, I don't know. As long as that show tapes, I have no idea. I don't watch this thing.
I'm going to say they've known each other for probably about 6 months. And 3 of those they were married.
Don't you remember we did the story about this man crying? He didn't know which one to choose.
Yeah, but I don't remember.
Apparently he chose the wrong one.
I don't remember how long ago this was. I didn't think that much of it. I didn't think we were going to be talking about it again.
Well, I didn't think we were going to be talking about it again either until, 3 months. 3 months after this heartbreaking choice where he was crying all over the place and slobbering all over himself, and now, divorce.
Good TV.
Terrible. Terrible. He's a punchline now, and she's a punchline, and they're not going to recover, because who's going to put them back on television at this point?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know why they were on television to begin with. I think The Bachelor is a terrible concept for a show. I don't even know why people watch it.
Well, but that's not the point here. They were going for something. They got married.
Like, The Bachelor's success, like, even if you were using The Bachelor for, like, intended purposes, I guess, look at The Bachelor's success rate. I think you have a better chance of just cycling through people on, like, a dating app. I don't think that The Bachelor is all that good of a dating tool.
But 3 months. I mean, this is what I always say about people in their marriage. I mean, you've got to stop this. Just don't get married if you think there's even the slightest chance.
Well, I mean, there's always a chance.
3 months in, you're already tired of the person?
Oh yeah.
That's terrible.
Oh, yeah.
That is terrible.
3 months
Well,
is a
speaking
lot.
of
3 months is a
relationships,
long time.
speaking of relationships that don't work out, Taylor Swift broke up with an ex-boyfriend several years ago, I believe 2014, 2015. DJ Calvin Harris. Do you know who this is?
No.
Neither do I. But now he's remarried, and she has become a Swiftie, a Taylor Swift fan, Calvin Harris's new wife. But she has admitted that she only listens to Taylor Swift's music when Calvin Harris is not around the house because she doesn't want to tick him off.
I mean, her music is so relevant at this point that I don't know how you would not hear it. Like I hear it at the store.
She's a thing.
I hear it on the radio.
She was the person of the year.
They play it at the NFL games now, like in the stadium.
She took over the NFL.
It's something. So I think it's kind of ridiculous.
NFL might as well shut down. It's owned by Taylor Swift at this point, lock, stock, and barrel.
You know, I think that the refs cheated. So I think that the Chiefs shouldn't have won the Super Bowl.
But they did.
There were look. All I'm saying is the Chiefs' offensive line had the most holding calls throughout the entire
We're
season.
going back to this. This
Yes.
was like 2 months ago.
I know, but
Because you're holding on to this like the Golden Bachelor holds on to wives.
I'm salty. I wanted the Taylor Swift saga to end.
But do you understand the question?
Question.
Yeah, that this man's wife has become a Swiftie, and she doesn't feel comfortable listening.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think it's a bit ridiculous because I mean.
Why is this man's Why is his name DJ Calvin Harris?
I assume
It's like Jelly Roll. Where do these people get these names?
Well, I assume his name's Calvin Harris and he's a DJ.
Okay.
That's where the name came
So
from.
that's his name now, DJ Calvin Harris.
I think they just put in DJ Calvin Harris in there so people will be like,
No,
oh.
I don't think that's what it was. I think that's part of his name. No. I don't think that's what it is, but whatever. Whatever. Do you want to be known? Produce clerk, Matt Morgan. Just list that everywhere.
I mean, people know it.
Is that like a cool name? DJ Calvin Harris?
I mean,
Jelly Roll.
Yeah, DJ Khaled.
Who? See, you don't even know. Who cares? So should she have to hide her Swiftiness?
No, I think it's kind of ridiculous because I mean he's definitely heard Taylor Swift music somewhere else. It's not like
But that's his ex-girlfriend. It's salt in the wounds.
It's been years at this point. I don't think it matters anymore.
Maybe he didn't want to hear her.
Maybe I don't know. I
bet he doesn't DJ her music.
I don't know.
I bet there's no Taylor Swift songs in his playlist.
There should be. You gotta have.
Oh,
at least
no.
Gotta have at least a couple.
That's his ex-girlfriend. And she broke up with him, apparently.
You see, but like you're mixing songs. Like that's DJs mix the songs. So
yeah, but you don't like this person.
I'm getting paid. I don't care who I like and don't like. If they like it, they like it. I'm getting paid for this.
But there are a bazillion songs. You don't have to put that one in there.
I don't have to put that one in there. I could pick another Taylor Swift song. Is this a specific Taylor Swift song?
I don't know. He was with her years ago.
I mean,
there's probably one about him.
If there's one about him, I mean, you ain't got to put that one in there.
Well, maybe you should. That'd bring more people in. That's the guy. That's the guy she's talking about here. By the way, how many men has this girl been with? I mean, honest to God, she doesn't get married, but boy, there's an old... 4?
5?
No, man, more than that.
Somebody's
got to start looking at this girl's track record. Honest to God.
I know of 4 that I can think of.
4. Wasn't she with a previous manager, and this guy, and the football player, and John Mayer?
I got the football player and John Mayer, and way back in the day when I was a small child, she dated Taylor Lautner.
See, there's another one.
And,
Taylor Swift and Taylor Lautner.
Yeah. I think Taylor Lautner's... I think he was in Twilight. I think he was super big back in the day.
I don't understand. I just don't think that this woman should have to hide her fanaticism.
No, I agree. I think that's stupid because he's definitely heard the music somewhere before. I don't think it matters. I think just play it. Just listen to the music.
Well, whatever.
I mean, don't go out of your way to play Taylor Swift, I guess, when he's around. But like, I mean, if a Taylor Swift song comes on, there's no point in being like, oh, skip it.
Well, here's an interesting thing, and this will be a fascinating subject for us because we're not women. But a recent study found that a woman's professionalism is based upon her physical appearance.
How so?
That when you go on a job interview, you have to look a certain way, or you will not be considered a professional.
I thought that's how they worked.
Well, but it's...
I mean, I've always been told to dress nice for a job interview, or I'm probably not going to get the job. You don't want to show up looking like a bum, or you're not going to get the job.
Yeah, but would you get a haircut for a job interview?
I mean, I don't know. I haven't had to do a job interview in a while.
No, but let's say you had to have a job interview. Would you get a haircut?
Probably.
But that's not who you are. See, now you're lying.
Well, no. See,
You're putting on a phoniness.
I need a haircut anyways. My hair's too long. I need to get like 3 inches chopped off. So it just like give me a reason to get my haircut.
Your hair was short when you started here. Have you ever got it cut in the last 9 or 10 months?
No, and in the time I've been here, I don't think I've got it cut.
What happened?
I mean, the only reason I cut my hair to begin with was because my mom wanted us to get it cut for my grandpa's funeral. So like we got like buzz cuts, because like it was like the night before. So I was like, okay, whatever. So we did that, and then it's just kind of grown since then, I do believe.
And you just don't want to get a haircut, or you?
So I like the curls that I have. So like
Do you ever run a brush through that thing?
No. I have a comb that I run through sometimes, but I don't know that it does much. It's a mess.
It is a mess. So you would not go on a job interview like this, I would hope.
Yeah, no. So like I said, I'd get like 3 inches cut off my hair.
3 inches? That's not very much. How long do you think it is?
I don't know. about 6 or 7.
Yeah, I think you need a little more than that.
No, I want 3.
No, you need to cut off about.
I need the curls.
4.
I need
4
the
or 5.
No, the curls.
Why do you need the curls?
The curls still need to, because they're part of the look, man.
What's the look?
I don't know. I look stupid with the short hair.
Well, what's the look now?
I mean, I don't know. It's fine.
I mean, what look are you going for? Maybe you can help me out here.
I mean, there's not really a look I'm going for. It's just, I think I like to wear, like, I don't know, like I
Don't you find long hair to be difficult? That it curls and you sleep on it at night and you get bedhead and all that?
You see, this, like, when it gets this long, yes, this hair is quite annoying. But usually, like I said, like when it gets to the point when it's like, when I can't see it in my eyes, but it's like when it's like here, I can't see it, but it's still curly. So like that's fine, cause like I like how it looks curly.
Have you ever put any conditioner in your hair?
Yeah.
Did it straighten it out?
No, it just makes it feel like silk.
How often do you wash your hair?
Every time I take a shower.
So every 3 or 4 days?
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't look like you run a comb through it.
I mean, I run a comb through it.
Do you use any product on it?
No.
None.
No product.
Why?
I don't know.
So the final analysis here in our last minute and a half, why would you get it cut for a job interview if this is what you like?
I'm like I said, this isn't what I like. Like actually, like I said, I've been needing a haircut for a minute now. I'm just lazy and I haven't gotten one yet. It's the same reason why I got tires like 2 days before we went to Philadelphia, because like I already needed new tires. Just I really needed new tires to go to Philadelphia, so I had to like speed it up the process a bit.
Well, you were gonna get a haircut too.
I ran out of time. There was too much happening.
Well, so basically, before we run out of time here, is it true that a woman's professionalism is based upon her physical appearance?
I mean, I think that professionalism and I think that the first look is always everything. So I think that in terms of everybody for a job interview, that the looks are how you're going to base professionalism.
Well, we made it through. We made it through. I think you should probably dress up for a job interview and
I agree.
Cut about 5 inches off that thing.
No, I think we can get 3 good. 3's good.
For Matt Morgan, this is Sean. I'm looking at Sean Kraft behind the camera. Forgot who I was. I had an identity crisis. For Matt Morgan, this is Scott Spears heading for the dugout. Good night.